Hello, hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Schwa Mill, where we help you craft your accent every single Saturday at this time. I'm your host. My name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath, which is one of the four main ingredients to a natural American English accent. And today we're going to be listening to files that you send to us so that way we can give you some suggestions for sounding more natural. I want to walk you through that process in case this is your first time watching us and you want to send in your pronunciation to get some feedback. Allow me to share my screen for a moment. And of course, as we're going through things today, if you have a specific question about anything, feel free to send it our way. We'll be happy to help you out. So first things first is we have a Google document. This is where people can send our files. A little slower today. Welcome to the summer months where things kind of slow down a little bit. But you can find it in the video description or you can find it here. I'm going to post it into the chat box. Okay. You click this link. This link will send you to our Google document. Looks like this. You're going to see up top it says choose one of the options below. Visit vocaroo.com. What is vocaroo.com? Curious. So Vocaroo is how you're going to be able to send in your own audio files to us. That way we can listen to you. This is what it looks like when you first sign on. You're going to click that big red record button. You're going to start recording a file. I usually recommend about 5 to 10 seconds in length. You end it. You click save and share. You're going to get this nice little link. You copy that link and then you paste it right in here. That's all you need to do. I'll handle the rest. If you want to let me know your name and things like that, the text of what you say, that's helpful too. Sometimes we have issues with comprehension. Sometimes we have audio issues. I mean, guys, we're sending audio files thousands and thousands of miles through means that I don't fully understand. So things can definitely happen. So having a text is always a nice, helpful option. Also, if you have a specific question that you would like for us to answer, feel free to do that. Also, just want to give a quick reminder as well, in case you're watching us in the future, or maybe you're watching us right now, an opportunity that we have. So I mentioned earlier that there's 4 key concepts that we have for a natural accent in American English. And I want to walk you through those steps without any obstacles and things like that. So our course, which if you go to fluentamerican.com, you're going to see if you go down to our video courses, 4-step American accent is completely free. All I need is your email so that way I can send it to you just to our newsletter. So we'll send you information about the 4 key concepts. Those 4 key concepts are placement, breath, pitch, and vowel sounds. I would love to help you out. And again, this is available for free. And this is how you're going to get the most meaning from all of the feedback and all the videos that we have on our channel, because these are topics that we repeatedly come back to. Because in my opinion, this is much more important than things like mouth position, where you put your tongue, how wide is your mouth, things like that. No, these are things that are going to have a much more immediate impact, and one that's actually going to help you not really sound clearer. It's going to help you sound more natural, which is a little bit different. And if you have questions about anything that I have just mentioned, be sure to let us know. Give you guys back your screen. Trying to think, are there other main things that we need to mention before we get started? I can't think of anything. But if you guys have some news, be sure to let me know. Otherwise, we'll get right into the feedback. Again, not too many files today, so let's hop on. Oh, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not little, it's more little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, here, or here? Now time to listen to some files and things like that. And again, a reminder that if you want to send in a file in a future stream, that document is actually the same document that we use pretty much every single stream. So even if you're watching us in the future, I would definitely bookmark this Google Doc. Check it. Usually I clear it out on Thursdays or Fridays. And then you'll be able to put in your file so we can all see it. Alrighty, let's take a listen. Again, not too many files. I'm going to start off our first file. This is the text for what you're going to see. We got a lot. Okay. Put that up so you guys can hear that. Allow me to open up the file.
It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is returning home leaving niche. Suddenly, he saw an old woman who asked him to carry her bundle. How dare you carry my bundle? Oh, sorry, because it's too heavy to carry. Never seen you anger out this dark little alley. Oh, I love you. Okay, ma'am. I got a fever. I should head back home.
All right. It just stopped at home. Okay, so it just says at home there. Good. As always, kudos to Shok for experimenting, doing different voices. The character is really coming out. That's great. A lot of people who learn English aren't necessarily, or just language learners in general, aren't necessarily willing to experiment and really exaggerate the sound. And I think the more you're willing to play with your voice and play with pitch and play with breath, the greater the gains that you're really going to see. So I definitely commend that. I think most of my suggestions are going to be for the beginning section where you're just kind of setting up the scene. So I'm going to kind of just target that part.
It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is returning home leaving niche.
I'm guessing niche is the name of someone. Otherwise, I'm not entirely sure what that means.
It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is returning home leaving niche.
I think something that would be really helpful here, firstly, is just pausing because this is really just going. It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is returning home after leaving niche. Like, compare that to it's 2 a.m. A 40th man is returning home. Like, something like that would have really helped instead of making me feel kind of rushed through everything. I know that we're trying to get to the scene itself, but, we can take our time a little bit more with this, I think. Other things I would say.
It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is
Notice that you have two thought groups right there. It's 2 a.m., a 40th man. You're kind of giving me the same pitch range for both of those, which is making it a little bit difficult from a listening perspective.
It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is
It's like the same pattern, 2 a.m., a 40th man. Usually, when you're switching between thought groups in American English, the pitch is going to change at least a little bit. So instead of saying like it's 2 a.m., a 40th man, maybe starting high, it's 2 a.m., then dropping. A 40th man is returning home. It's 2 a.m. Notice I'm also adding a pause. It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is returning home after leaving niche. So a 40th man, then we have another thought group, right? Is leaving home. Then we're going down more after leaving niche. So you can separate that into more thought groups, add more contrast in the pitches, and that's going to really help this, I think, stand out even more, in addition to being easier to understand.
It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is returning home leaving.
It's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is
2 a.m. There's nothing wrong with having a rising intonation there, but I would also be open to experimenting. Maybe it would carry a little more weight if you had like a falling intonation, like it's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. instead of it's 2 a.m. Other things.
It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is
I would say that the vowel on man is a little fast. In general, American English is very dedicated to vowel sounds, so I would try to get that "an" sound to stand out more than the M and the N, because I feel like it's almost like 40th man.
40th man is returning.
A 40th man is versus a 40th man is returning.
It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is returning home leaving niche.
Is returning home.
Man is returning home leaving niche.
Okay, I think those are the main things I have there for vowels.
It's 2 a.m. A 40th man is returning home leaving niche.
Okay, I like your short eye on niche. That tends to be a tricky sound. A lot of people doing like E. A lot of students would say that's like niche, but I like your niche. Sounds good. One last thing, just placement on 2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m.
2 a.m. Feels like your placement's pretty high, maybe even a little nasally. It's 2 a.m. versus it's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. So I would say when you're doing your M sound, see where your placement is. Hold it for like 3 seconds. Like, are you doing well, because your placement's really high if you're doing that. Versus if you're doing like well, now my placement's a lot lower. So those are just some things to consider that part. Let's go to the next part.
40th man is returning home leaving niche. Suddenly he saw an old woman who asked him to carry her bundle.
The rhythm there was a little bit disjointed. It took a little bit of effort to follow.
Suddenly he saw an old woman who asked him to carry her bundle.
Asked him to carry her bundle. What I would do is I would try to maybe, again, with the thought groups, have clearer distinctions, especially with pitch ranges, and that's going to make it a lot smoother.
Suddenly he saw
Suddenly, I mean, you could even raise the pitch on that, like suddenly, especially if this is a surprising thing. Suddenly
an old woman who
he saw an old woman.
Suddenly he saw an old woman who asked him to carry her bundle.
Suddenly he saw an old woman who asked him to carry her bundle. He saw an old woman. Suddenly he saw an old woman.
Suddenly he saw an old woman who asked him to carry her bundle.
An old woman who asked him. Okay, so that's the thing. So I think you have multiple thought groups there, but you're again using the same pitch range. So he saw an old woman. I would have that as its own little thought group there personally. Like he saw an old woman. Suddenly, thought group. He saw an old woman. Here, a new thought group there, but at a slightly lower pitch. Suddenly, he saw an old woman. And then I have another thought group who asked him to carry her bundle. Who asked him to carry her bundle. Asked him to carry her bundle. Who asked him to carry her bundle. Maybe just stressing bundle or carry. I would choose between one of those. But I think you need 3 thought groups maybe for that sentence at least, arguably 4. Suddenly, then we're going to go down. He saw an old woman. Then we're going to go down. Who asked him to carry her bundle. Versus, listen to this, and you're going to notice that again, the pitch ranges are about the same.
Suddenly he saw an old woman who asked him to carry her bundle.
I would also say on bundle, so you even get a lower pitch on that dark L at the end. So it bundle, bundle. We feel like we're really high versus bundle, bundle. A lot of times when you finish with these dark L sounds, you want to lower the pitch, a little more breath through, some more, bundle, bundle.
Suddenly he saw an old woman who asked him to carry her bundle.
Yeah, bundle. The other thing I would say, I like how you're saying old. That tends to be a very difficult word to say, old. A lot of people doing old, like old, just kind of blocking off a lot of breath, really tensing the jaw. But I think you're doing a great job of keeping that open.
Suddenly he saw an old woman who asked him to carry her bundle.
Okay, let's maybe do one part of the quote, then we'll move on to our next file.
How dare you carry my bundle?
That bundle. So that's very interesting because that time you said bundle, I really liked your breath.
How dare you carry my bundle?
And that might actually be aided by the fact that you're whispering, because when you whisper, you do tend to get a lot of air out. Okay, so I think that is helping you a lot, in all honesty. A grammar note, and this is one that also Edward brings up. How dare you throw my bundle? Yeah, typically I think after dare you're going to see a base verb. Okay, so I would take off the ing. How dare you throw my bundle? Okay, but I like your breath on bundle. All right, Choke, thank you so much for sending that file. We appreciate you, as always, getting our theatrical work in for today. We appreciate that so much. And guys, if you're already getting some value from what we're doing, maybe some things that you can start applying to your own speech, maybe, of course, the vowel sounds or pitch, this is how you can help me. Like what you're hearing? Let us know by liking and subscribing. Let's take a look at our next file. What have we? It's going to keep going in order. It's going to be the text from our next one. Give me one moment. All right. This one from Sycamore. Thanks, Sycamore, for sending the file. Oh, and I think I'm also late in saying hey to people, so a very belated hello to Shoke. Also a very belated hello to Edward as well. And if you guys are watching too, I know there's some other people as well. If you want to stay silent on the sidelines, that's cool too. But it'd be great to just say hey, then you can go back to watching. But let us know if you're here. But this is the next file that we're going to be taking a look at. Let me pull it up.
So my wife is working this weekend. I have to take care of my two boys. I don't have any plans, but most likely we'll go outside and have some fun.
Okay. Sycamore, thank you for sending this file. Hope you guys do have fun. I feel this as well. My wife is away, so I have to watch my son in a bit. He's with his grandmother right now. I'll get him a little bit after. I think my big thing here, I can definitely tell that you're experimenting with some higher pitches. So I definitely approve of that. We're always trying to hit those higher pitches. I would also ask you to start incorporating some lower pitches as well, because I think just in terms of your vocal range, there are lower pitches that we could also hit that are going to help this sound a little bit more dynamic. Let's highlight some things. Let's play it again.
So my wife is working this weekend. I have to take care of my two boys. I don't have any plans, but most likely we'll go outside and have some fun.
Okay, I really like how you said I don't have any plans. Like I think you really conveyed like the uncertainty of the situation that you don't have plans. Like I don't have any plans, but I thought that was a very natural sounding portion of your speech. I want to highlight the beginning.
So my wife is working this weekend.
We talked about lower pitches at the beginning. Weekend is a great opportunity to explore some of those lower pitches. So, for instance, so my wife is working this weekend. Listen to my weekend versus yours. Wife is working this weekend. Wife is working this weekend.
Working this weekend.
Do you hear that? You're doing weekend, and I'm doing weekends. So just trying to take that low pitch lower, and this is just going to help increase that dynamic range, give you a slightly more natural sound, especially when you compound it over an entire sentence, right? Or over everything that you say in a conversation.
So my wife is working this weekend.
So my wife is working this weekend. I don't even know necessarily if you need to go as high on wife. It's fine if you do. If I were saying it, I would probably say something more like, so my wife's working this weekend. Just a note. Hello to Tommaso. Sei italiano, no? Good to see you, Tommaso. Thanks for being with us for a bit. If you want to send us a file, there's still plenty of time to do so.
So my wife is working this weekend.
I'd also say on weekend, I think it's getting a little bit blocked off by the N. Sounds like weekend versus weekend. So I think some of that lower pitch would also be an opportunity to open up the breath on end and weekend. Just a note. So my wife's working this weekend.
I have to take care of my two boys.
I have to take care of my two boys.
I have to take care of my two boys.
I don't have much to say there. I think it sounds pretty good. If you're looking for other things or other ways to express this,
I have to take care of my two boys.
I have to take care of. You could reduce that part even more if you wanted, but it's not even necessary to do that. Like I have to take care of my two boys. I have to take care. I have to
take care of my.
So notice that a lot of times when you're linking I to have, that H sound is going to get really weak. It's like I have to take care. I have to take care. Of my two boys. That sounded good.
I have to take care of my two boys.
I like your oo sound on two. Sometimes we get a little tense on that. It's very easy for that to happen, like do, versus two of my two boys. I like how you're saying that oo sound. Good job.
Two boys. I don't have any plans.
I don't have any plans. I think that's fine. Another option too, if you're just looking into reductions, that D sound on don't very often gets weakened to a much greater degree.
I don't have any plans.
Like I don't have any. A lot of times you might even hear just like I don't have any. Like you don't even really hear the D, right? I don't have any. In fact, a common way of saying like I don't know. You'll even see this on like text speech sometimes. Is you'll see something like this, like I don't know. So instead of saying I don't know or I don't know, you often see this as well. I don't know. And notice that there's almost like no consonant sounds in that whatsoever. So this is another alternative. That's not to say that what you're doing is wrong. I think what you're doing is fine. I don't have any plans.
I don't have any plans, but most likely we'll go outside then.
What you did with but in terms of the lower pitch is fine.
I don't have any plans, but
you could even go lower. So just for the sake of exercise and practice, I would say, hey, can you try to take that pitch even a little bit lower? So instead of I don't have any plans, but so even go I don't have any plans, but so notice that my it's just a little lower on that so on that schwa. I don't have any plans, but most likely
Plans, but most likely we'll go outside and have some fun.
go outside. Go outside. She doesn't go.
Plans, but most likely we'll go outside and
We'll go outside. Most likely we'll go outside. Most likely we'll go outside. Most likely we'll go outside. I probably would have stressed. Excuse me. I probably would have stressed side a little heavier instead of go.
plans, but most likely we'll go outside and
Because you're saying go outside versus I would probably say it's most likely we'll go. Most likely we'll go outside. Most likely we'll go outside. Most likely we'll go outside. We'll go outside. So I probably would have stressed side personally.
but most likely we'll go outside and have some fun.
I would watch out for that schwa sound on fun. I know we've talked about this before, just that schwa linking onto an N. Make sure that instead of like on, more un. You had difference? It's like versus This difference between cop versus cup or lock versus luck. We want those second ones like cup and luck, more of that schwa sound. So it's going to help add some clarity there.
But most likely we'll go outside and have some fun.
So I'm here, have some fun versus have some fun. Yeah, have some fun. But most likely we'll go outside and have some fun. Most likely we'll go outside and have some fun. Okay. Notice that when I'm saying that too, I'm using a much lower pitch. Go outside and have some fun. So again, most likely we'll go outside, first thought group maybe a little higher in pitch, and then have some fun. Second thought group, lower pitch. Most likely we'll go outside and have some fun. Something like that. All right, so I'm gonna play that whole section and then I'll repeat it the way I would say it.
So my wife is working this weekend. I have to take care of my two boys. I don't have any plans, but most likely we'll go outside and have some fun.
So my wife's working this weekend. I have to take care of my two boys. I don't have any plans, but most likely go outside and have some fun. That's how I personally would have said it, at least one way. I would have said that. But thank you so much, Sycamore, for sending this file. We greatly appreciate it as always. All right, we rolling, guys. This might be the last file unless someone sent me something. All right, this might be a very short episode of the Schwa Mill today. So, if you are interested in having your own pronunciation looked at, this is the time. Again, you can find the link in the video description or at the top of the chat. We have posted the link that you can follow to get access to our Google document where you can send in your own files. And in case you're watching this on the replay, thank you. Hello from the past. You can use this link, which again you can find in the video description, pretty much at any time. We clear it out on Fridays. Okay. If it's not Friday and you want to send in audio, what I would do is I would put it like down here. So that way I can see it and things like that. A quick note too, guys. We have, for those who are interested in things that we have done today, we have a program called Mission English. And Mission English is for people who don't just want feedback on their pronunciation for like 10 minutes on a Saturday. They want someone to look at their pronunciation. They want me to look at their pronunciation every single day of the week. And you want guidance on placement, breath, pitch, and vowel sounds because no other channel, no other American English resource is doing what we're doing. I guarantee you that. So basically, in Mission English, we meet in a small group setting. It's kind of like what you see right now, except let's say this. So I'm right here, and then you guys are like right there. And usually it's a max of me and 4 students. Typically it's much smaller than that. Usually it's like 2 or 3 students on screen with me. And what we do during this time is we listen to your pronunciation. We do exercises together. And then you hear yourself, you hear other students, and you hear my feedback for everybody. And it's super helpful to hear other people talk because I'll put it this way, when it's just you just don't know what you sound like. You don't know what you sound like unless you listen to yourself on recording. You just don't. And then you listen to yourself on the recording. You're like, oh, wow, I sound completely different than I thought I did. Okay. So this is one of the advantages of a group class, because in a group class, you can hear someone talk, how they actually sound, and you can hear my feedback for them, and you can immediately see the difference that it makes. So it speeds up the process, actually, if you take a group class versus if it's just you on your own. So the other benefit is of Mission English is that every single class we do is recorded, so you can watch all the previous classes. In fact, if you join Mission English today, that means that you get access to 300, 315, 320 classes. I think that's about where we're at right now. 320 classes of Mission English that you can see right now if you join, because all the classes are saved and you can rewatch them. One of the nicest things about it too is that this is the cost per month. This is what a lot of places, this isn't even what a lot of places are charging for one class. But you pay this, and that gets you access for the entire month. And then you can rewatch everything. Okay. This is our current schedule. Okay, these are based on New York time. So we're meeting at either 9:30 in the morning, like on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, or we're meeting at 1:30 p.m. New York time on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Or we're meeting at 8 o'clock p.m. New York time, and we're doing that Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we're spread out across different time zones, so hopefully we can have one that works for you. And lastly, we have writing sessions. We do a minimum of 5 of them a month. Today we did one focusing on IELTS. I used to be an IELTS examiner, so I'd love to help you with your writing or business emails or whatever type of writing you're working on. But again, you can find out more at fluentamerican.com/Mission English. Beyond that, let's take a look at our last file. This one's from Marcos. And if no one else sends us a file, then we get to dismiss a little early today. Okay. All right. Marcos sending us a slightly longer file than usual. Cool. I am for that. Let's take a listen here.
The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. One of the perks of working for an airline is free travel.
Okay. One of the things I will say is that this sounds like it's being read. It doesn't actually sound like something, at least the way it's being said right now, doesn't sound like it's from like a spoken conversation. Let's not say that's a bad thing, but just to give some context for that, I'm going to approach this as though you want it to sound natural in a conversation.
The money isn't great, but
The money isn't great. Whatever word you're stressing, I would go heavier on it, especially in a conversation. Because if you're just like, the money isn't great, it sounds a little too matter of fact. There's not a lot of emotion tied to there. But when we're talking to people, usually there's some sort of emotional aspect to our language. So either money or great. It always depends on context too. I would probably stress great, just like in a neutral situation. That's probably what I would do.
the money isn't great.
I would also try to add a little bit more movement onto your intonation, because right now the intonation is a little flat. It's just like great, great. There's not really any movement there. So I would maybe say something like this, like the money isn't great. The money isn't great. The money isn't great. Actually, I'm kind of stressing more money there, aren't I? So I would probably stress money, but then on great, I would get that intonation movement. The money isn't great. If you were stressing great, it would sound more like this. The money isn't great. The money isn't great. But I'm going to stress money. The money isn't great. And then we're going to do something I just mentioned earlier, I think for Sycamore's file. We're going to go take but, new thought group. It's a new thought group, so that means I'm going to really lower my pitch. But the money isn't great, but
there are a lot of perks.
one thing I'm noticing too, you're really moving here. You're going pretty fast. This was an opportunity to slow down, add a pause, something like that.
The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks.
So many options in terms of stress here. Some common stresses that I think you'll hear a native speaker use. Either a stress on are, but there are a lot of perks. Or a stress on lot, but there are a lot of perks. Or you can stress perks, but there are a lot of perks. So just to put that in greater context, let's add the first part. Stressing money and then stressing are. The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. Now stressing lot. The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. But there are a lot of perks. The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. And now stressing perks. The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. So just a lot of different options there. The one I'm liking the most right now is probably stress on R. The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. And again, the key thing is that the pitch register is changing. The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. You hear I just dropped everything. The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. The next sentence is probably going to go higher in the thought group. I'm going to higher in pitch. One of the perks of working for an airline is free travel. Free travel. Make sure you stress travel. You can go up a little bit on free, but the heavier stress is probably going to be on travel. One of the perks, notice that again, the thought group rises in pitch right after perks. But there are a lot of perks. One of the perks.
A lot of perks. One of the perks of working for an airline is free travel.
Okay, so one of the things that you're doing is stressing a word that I probably wouldn't stress. So you're stressing perks. One of the perks.
Perks. One of the perks of
One of the perks. I probably wouldn't stress perks. And the reason for it is because this is the second time we've said perks. So it's not new information anymore. Because you just said, but there are a lot of perks. But there are a lot of perks. So we already know about perks. The listener knows about it. The speaker knows about it. So it's not really as important information anymore because we already talked about it. So instead of perks getting stressed, I'd probably put on one of the perks. One of the perks. The other thing too is that the one is the important thing. It's not the perks themselves. It's one of the perks.
One of the perks of
And so one of the perks, I would probably say that's one of the perks.
Working for an airline. One of the perks of working for an airline.
And that thought group stays a little high. I would probably take it a little lower. One of the perks of working for an airline. One of the perks of working for an airline. So here I'm going lower. One of the perks, I'm high of working for an airline. Now I'm lower. Is free travel. One of the perks of working for an airline is free travel. And then that last part, I'm going down even more. One of the perks of working for an airline is free travel. One of the perks for working for an airline is free travel. Something like that.
One of the perks of working for an airline is free travel.
Free travel. Instead of free travel. I would probably go higher on travel. Travel, I would probably have as your stress, not free. One of the perks of working for an airline is free travel. Let's listen to this again just for like vowel sounds and things like that.
The money isn't great.
Isn't great. I think our placement's a little high on that. Isn't great. My guess is it starts with that short I sound on isn't, and then it just kind of stays high. It's like the money isn't great. The money isn't great.
The money isn't great.
The money isn't great. Versus a lower placement. Money isn't great. The money isn't great. The money isn't great. So I'm just at a lower position. My diaphragm's working a little bit more, so I'm getting more air through as well. The money isn't great.
The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. But there are a lot of perks.
There are a lot of perks. Lot of perks. You're kind of giving me an ah sound on lotta versus lotta. Do you hear the difference with the schwa sound at the end? Lotta. So more of an sound. Lotta.
A lot of perks.
Yeah, lotta perks. Lot of perks. So let's use more of a schwa sound on lotta.
But there are a lot of perks.
I feel like I'm hearing airline.
Working for an airline. It's free. Working for an airline. Working for an airline.
Yeah, airline versus airline. So our vowel's a little off. More air. So I would say a, air, airline. A, air, airline. So just trying to get that vowel a little longer and clearer. One of the perks of working for an airline.
Working for an airline is free travel.
Yeah, and one of the things I mentioned too, as I believe for sycamore, so you have the dark L sound at the end, travel. So right now you're kind of saying travel.
Travel. It's free travel.
Travel. I would see if I could go lower in pitch on that all sound. Travel. Instead of travel. Also, it's my stressed word. So I'll go higher in pitch on the first syllable, and then I'll go lower in pitch on the second syllable. And that's going to help add some contrast, makes it a little more dynamic.
Working for an airline is free travel.
Okay. Is free travel. So you got more breath and just a little lower in pitch on travel. All right, I'm going to play this again, and I'll show you how I would read it.
The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. One of the perks of working for an airline is free travel.
The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. Actually, let me stress are. The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. One of the perks of working for an airline is free travel. The money isn't great, but there are a lot of perks. One of the perks of working for an airline is free travel. Something like that. One of those two, I think, would be a very common way of saying that. Thank you to Marcos for sending us that file. Appreciate you very much, sir, as always. All right, checking our documents. We got some more files. Look at that. Okay. Eden? Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. We're going to start with you. And then we'll take a look at Tommaso, who sent us a file. Grazie, Tommaso. Okay. Just one moment. I'm going to have to reshare everything. My God. You guys are putting me to work today. All right. This is the text. Guess send me files. There is still time. Actually, I'm going to resend that. I'm guessing this is a typo. Quick little phrase here. It's cool. Let's see what we have in this moment.
Call me back when you get a chance.
Okay. Short and sweet.
Call me back when you get a chance.
Okay. My very biggest comment is I think this is very clear. I understand what you're saying. I think the general sounds here are good. I think we're missing a lot of contrast. The pitch is very flat.
Call me back when you get a chance.
It's almost like hitting the same key on a keyboard or a piano. Da 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 da. Versus, let's try to add some more nuance to this.
Call me back when you get a chance.
My guess is this is a phrase that you could put into Youglish and get different variations on. So I'll go to youglish.com and put this in, or even just like call me back. But I imagine you can get some hits for this whole phrase. There's probably going to be two thought groups.
Call me back when you get a chance.
And even when you're saying it, you have two thought groups too. There's just not a whole lot of separation between them. So most likely the thought group is going to end after back. It's like, call me back.
Call me back when you get a chance.
Call me back. Hey, call me back. Hey, call me back. Call me back. I think a lot of times you can stress call. I don't have an issue with the stress, but I think the more frequent stress, I would guess, is going to be more on back. Hey, call me back. Call me back. A lot of times this is a phrasal verb, call someone back. It's a separable one. And typically, not always, but typically when you have a phrasal verb like this, the stress falls on the particle or the preposition. So I would expect it more on back. So say, call me back. Call me back. Hey, call me back. Call me back. Hey, call me back. Call me back. Call me back. And then we get the last part.
Call me back when you
Call me back. The key thing is we need me to go also at a lower pitch. Call me back. Call me back. Call me back. See how also reduced it is? It's super, super weak. Pronouns in general are not stressed. They tend to be super, super weak and reduced. So it's going to be at a much lower pitch. Hey, call me back. Call me back.
Call me back when you get a chance.
And then we have our second thought group with the when you get a chance part. So for this part, what I would do is I would try to go lower in pitch. And I would probably stress, I would either stress get or chance. I think for today, I'm probably feeling more chance when you get a chance. Call me back when you get a chance. Hey, call me back when you get a chance. When you get a chance. When you get a chance. Do you hear us like drop, 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 up? Get a chance. When you get a chance. When you get a chance. When you get a chance. Notice that also too for that phrase, when you get a chance, you can almost take off all those consonant sounds. Just really focus on the vowels. So like when you When you get you don't really hear that like N sound super heavy. You don't really hear that G sound super heavy. When you get a chance. When you get a chance. Notice too for chance, you have that A sound that links with the letter N, so it makes like an sound. And chance, and chance. Make sure you're not saying an or an. It's an. Try and keep the placement low in the breath, but a heavy breath out of your nose right before that ends, like and chance.
Call me back when you get a chance.
Get a chance. I think you hit the vowel right on chance. I liked how you said chance sound. I think the intonation is a little bit weird.
Get a chance.
When you get a chance. When you get a chance. A lot of times you hear more chance. Chance. Like a chance. It kind of does up and then down. Chance. Hey, call me back when you get a chance. Chance. When you get a chance. When you get a chance. Call me back when you get a chance. Call me back when you get a chance. So I think the biggest thing that's going to have an impact on getting this to sound natural is that when you get a chance, that part, lowering the pitch. Call me back when you get a chance. Call me back when you get a chance. Call me back when you get a chance. That's really going to help open this up and give you a much more natural sound.
Call me back when you get a chance.
Yeah, those are going to be my big things there. I'm paying attention on chance, but the biggest thing is just pitch. If you just practice that, I think that'll have the biggest impact for you fastest. Thank you so much for sending us a file. Hope you send us another one in the future, and I hope you found this helpful. All right, going back to our document. I see one more file. This one again from Tommaso. Tommaso mixing things up in the document. Who wants that black highlight? All right. Maybe a snack for brother Bob. Bob's getting demanding. All right, let's take a listen to this in a moment. Really quick, guys, a reminder that if you're finding this helpful, we do this sort of practice every single day of the week in our Mission English program, which you can find at fluentamerican.com. This is our schedule. Each of these is a 30-minute live stream. We're doing 2 30-minute sessions a day. You can join all of them in a month. That's a maximum of about 40 classes. So you pay $30 and you get access to like 40 classes. We guarantee at least 30, but typically we're doing more than that. You also get access to all the previous classes as well. It's in a private Facebook group. We would love to work with you on placement, breath, pitch, everything you're doing in pronunciation, listening to native speakers, shadowing, all that fun stuff. Again, at fluentamerican.com. Tommaso say, sorry, I don't know why it's black. It's all good. These things happen. I understand. Things can be crazy sometimes. Technology doing its thing. All right, let's see what Tommaso's given us. And if you want to send us a file, this is kind of your last chance.
Ask her to bring this thing. Please call Sella. Ask her to bring these things with her from the store. 6 spoons of fresh snow peas, 5 thick slabs of blue cheese, and maybe a snack for her brother Bob.
Okay. Thank you for sending us this file, Tommaso. Let's give you some things that might be helpful.
Please call Sella.
Please call Stella. If this feels like you're talking into like your phone, like a voice memo or something like that, or talking to like Alexa or Siri or something.
Please call Sella.
The reason I say that is because it's very childlike. Please call this. Do this. You know, like, or like you're making a grocery list or something, right? If you want this to sound more like you're actually talking to a person, like in a conversation, I would probably not have the pauses. Or be like, hey, please call Stella. Like, please call Stella. So something like that. That's going to sound a little more conversational. Please call Stella. And because there's more information coming, that's why I'm using that rising intonation. Like, Stella, please call Stella. Ask her to, things like that, okay?
Please call Sella. Ask her to bring these things with.
Okay, two little things for that part. You're really reducing that E sound on these. You're saying this versus these. And in general, that E sound does not get reduced in American English.
Ask her to bring these things with.
Yeah, bring this things versus bring these things. Ask her to bring these things. The other thing is, again, pitch relation. You're switching thought groups. I know I've talked about it a lot today, but it really makes a huge difference. If you're doing a new thought group, consider changing your pitch.
Call Stella. Ask her to
Please call Stella. Ask her. It's like it's the same pitch. Please call Stella. Ask her versus please call Stella. Please call Stella. Ask her to bring these things. Ask her to. So notice I went down. Please call Stella. Like please call Stella. Ask her to. Please call Stella. Ask her to. So just that little shift in pitch just helps it sound a lot more dynamic. Makes it a little easier for your listener.
ask her to bring these things with her from the store.
I think I'm going to say here is that this is very choppy. Ask her to bring these things with her from the store. This is da 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 da. You know, in general American English, we want to flow a lot more because we're so interested in breath. One of the things is that, again, American English is very interested in vowel sounds. A lot of Romance languages are more focused on consonant sounds, which can make things sound a little choppier. But American English wants things to really flow from one to the next. So I would say try to say that sentence, everything from ask her down to store. I would try to say all that in one breath, and I'll try to say it all 3 times. So 3 times in one breath. Ask her to bring these things with her from the store. Ask her to bring these things with her from the store. Ask her to bring these things with her from the store. Something like that is just going to help it flow a lot more. Instead of saying, ask her to bring these things with her from the store.
Bring these things with her from the store.
Part of the thing that's happening too is your consonant sounds are very heavy.
Ask her to bring this.
Ask her to, versus ask her to. Do you hear how much softer my fast D sound is? Ask her to. Ask her to.
Ask her to bring.
Ask her to. Your fast D becomes the dominant sound instead of the schwa. Like ask her to versus ask her to. Ask her to. Do you hear how much lighter my fast D sound is, which is allowing that schwa sound to open up? Okay, ask her to.
Ask her to bring these things with her.
Bring these things versus bring these things. If you ever a little phrase that you're saying and you're like, man, my consonant sounds are really heavy, take off the consonants, just do the vowels. It's like bring these things. So we have an I sound, an E, and then another I. So I, E, I. Bring these things. 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 And that just like cycling between those is going to help reduce your vowel sounds. Reduce your consonant sounds so your vowels can breathe more.
Ask her to bring these things with her from the.
With her versus with her. You can really reduce that TH sound. With her. Also, that sounded that H in her.
With her from the store. Bring these things with her from.
With her. I would say this is a case where you could actually reduce the H. If Italian is your first language, I know that the H sound can always be fun, but this is a place where the H sound can get dropped. With her.
Bring these things with her from the store.
From the store. It says store. I'll try to lower your lower jaw a little bit. Try to get a little more air through. Bring these things with her from the store.
6 spoons of fresh snow peas.
Snow peas.
Spoons of fresh snow peas.
Snow peas. Snow peas is a compound noun. That means that you have 2 words that join together to make a single thing. It's like snow peas. When this happens in American English, usually, not always, but usually the stress falls on the first word. So instead of saying snow peas, it becomes snow peas. 6 spoons of fresh snow peas. 6 spoons. I'd probably split that into like 2 thought groups, like 6 spoons. I'd probably stress 6 in this case. 6 spoons. Then I would lower the pitch of fresh snow peas. 6 spoons of fresh snow peas.
Fresh snow peas. 5 thick slabs of blue cheese.
Very choppy. Like it's almost like every word. 5 thick slabs of blue cheese. 5 thick slabs of blue cheese. Versus like 5 thick slabs. 5 thick. It's a little tricky thing to say, right? 5 thick slabs. 5 thick slabs. And then actually, I'd probably attach of on that too. 5 thick slabs of 5. Oh man, it's that thick with the th and then that SL sound. That's a fun one. 5 thick slabs of blue cheese. 5 thick slabs of blue cheese. And notice how the contrast happens with pitch, right? 5 thick slabs of, and then I'll go higher in pitch. Blue cheese. So I'm stressing 5 and then blue. 5 thick slabs of blue cheese. So you have another compound down there as well.
Snow peas, 5 thick slabs of blue cheese.
Blue cheese. You're kind of stressing cheese a little more. I was stressing more blue.
And maybe a snack for her brother Bob.
Okay, and then we finally get some nice linking here with the maybe a snack for
5 thick slabs of blue cheese. And maybe a snack for
that part was great. And maybe a snack. And maybe a snack. That much more fluid there.
her brother Bob.
Brother Bob. I would try to say that like 5 times. Brother Bob, brother Bob, brother Bob, brother Bob, brother Bob. And if you find that you're saying brother Bob, brother Bob, brother Bob, or something like that, could be a sign that your consonant sounds are too heavy. But again, the emphasis is on the vowels, like brother Bob, brother Bob, brother Bob. So again, just doing the vowels, then adding the consonants, then doing the vowels, then adding the consonants, brother Bob. Okay, this kind of smooth that out a little bit.
And maybe a snack for her brother Bob.
Okay, that was also a nice contrast with the pitch. And maybe a snack, you were higher, and then you lowered for brother Bob. Maybe a snack for brother Bob. And maybe a snack for brother Bob. I like that movement there. Good stuff, Tommaso. Hopefully you found that helpful. Okay. Thank you for sending that file. Hope to see more of you in the next stream next Saturday. Taking a look at our document. All right. That's it. That is literally all I have for today. So, guys, just again to highlight some things that we talked about for today. We talked a lot about pitch. So, hopefully, again, as you're switching your thought groups, again, make sure that you're playing around with it. Every time you're switching a thought group, try to switch the pitch as well. Take it a little lower, take it a little higher. That's going to be helpful in terms of making your speech more understandable to your listener, in addition to just adding some greater contrast to your speech as well. Pay attention also to some vowel sounds. We talked about some linking, and we talked about some techniques for breath. We also talked about some techniques for weakening your consonant sounds. So if you missed those, be sure to look back in the stream. Thank you guys for spending part of your Saturday, part of your weekend with me. I know there's a million resources out there for American English pronunciation. So the fact that you guys spent a little time with me on a Saturday, could have been with your family or something, I greatly appreciate that. So many things that you guys can do. Once again, my name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. We're here at the Schwa Mill, crafting your accent every single Saturday at this time. Hope to see you next week. If you're checking out the stream from sometime in the future from when we recorded this, again, please check out our Google Doc. We're checking it again on Thursdays or Fridays and erasing all the previous files so you can send in your audio so we can take a look at it next week. Thank you guys so much. We will catch you all later. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon.